In the heart of a dense forest, there was a swamp that no one dared to visit. It was called the Whispering Swamp because, at night, strange sounds could be heard coming from its depths. The water was dark and still, with lily pads floating on the surface like green saucers. Tall cypress trees stood guard, their roots twisting into the water like gnarled fingers. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. One day, a brave little frog named Felix decided to explore the Whispering Swamp. Felix was no ordinary frog, he had a curious mind and a heart full of courage. He had heard the stories about the swamp, but instead of being afraid, he was intrigued. What could be making those whispers? He wondered as he hopped closer to the edge of the swamp. As Felix ventured further into the swamp, he heard it, a soft, almost imperceptible whisper. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Who's there?" Felix called out, his voice trembling slightly. But there was no reply, only the gentle rustling of leaves and the occasional croak of a distant frog. As night fell, Felix noticed something strange. Pairs of glowing eyes began to appear in the darkness. They were not menacing, but rather curious, watching him from the shadows. Felix felt a mix of fear and excitement. "Hello?" He called out again, this time with more confidence. The eyes blinked but remained silent. Just as Felix was about to turn back, he encountered an old turtle named Myrtle. Myrtle had lived in the swamp for as long as anyone could remember and was known for her wisdom. "What brings you to the Whispering Swamp, young frog?" Myrtle asked, her voice slow and steady. Felix explained his curiosity about the whispers. Myrtle smiled and said, "The whispers are the voices of the swamp itself. It has many stories to tell, if you're willing to listen." Myrtle led Felix to a quiet part of the swamp where the water was clearer, and the trees formed a natural canopy overhead. "Listen," Myrtle said, and Felix did. The whispers grew louder, forming words and sentences. The swamp told stories of ancient times, of creatures long gone, and of the balance of nature. Felix was mesmerized, his heart swelling with a newfound respect for the swamp. As the night deepened, the whispers suddenly changed tone, becoming urgent and warning. Myrtle's eyes widened. "We must leave now," she said. "The swamp senses danger." Before Felix could ask what was wrong, a loud splash echoed through the swamp. A large, shadowy figure moved through the water, heading straight for them. Felix and Myrtle quickly made their way to a hidden path that led to higher ground. The shadowy figure pursued them, but the swamp itself seemed to help, with roots and vines moving to block the creature's path. Finally, they reached safety, and the figure retreated back into the depths of the swamp. Once they were safe, Myrtle explained that the shadowy figure was the swamp's guardian, a creature that protected the swamp from those who would harm it. "The guardian only appears when the balance of the swamp is threatened," Myrtle said. "It sensed your curiosity, but also your respect, which is why it let us go." Felix returned to the edge of the swamp, his heart full of the stories he had heard and the lessons he had learned. He realized that the Whispering Swamp was not a place to be feared, but a place to be respected and protected. From that day on, Felix became a guardian of the swamp, sharing its stories with others and ensuring that its whispers would never be silenced.